Alright, good afternoon, guys. Once again, I do apologize for a little bit of an issue. I think I have fixed the issue. I think that I know what was going on. I think we had a little bit of an issue with our broadcasting software here, but me being the technical genius I am, I think I've officially fixed our problem, so we should be good to go. I hope everybody can hear me clearly, and I hope everybody can see this live stream pretty good. Just kind of reiterate everything that I was talking about. Also, I'm going to wait for a few more minutes because I know there were some people saying that they weren't getting notifications from the live stream, so be sure to kind of tune in. Once again, guys, I do appreciate y'all for being here and being patient with us, guys. For some reason, technology has not been our best friend for the last 24 hours, but I think we have fixed our issue. I think we should be good to go at this point here, okay? So for this, what we got going for today, slight risk across much of the natural state, and then a marginal risk up there. Tornadoes, damaging winds, and the hail threat will be the primary threat for today here, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and go back over to tomorrow's threat, because before I got cut off, I was talking about tomorrow's threat here, okay? So let's go back over to it real quickly, guys. Let's show you guys what's going on over here in eastern Arkansas for tomorrow, okay? So the slight risk for western Arkansas, the marginal risk up there in northwestern Arkansas, and then the hatched area. Now, there's been a lot of people asking me over the last couple of days, what does the hatched area mean, okay? What does it mean? It means the potential of severe weather, significant severe weather is on the table, of course. So for tornadoes that are hatched, that's EF2 plus. For hail that's hatched, that's for 2-inch in diameter hail or greater. And then the damaging wind that's hatched, that's 75 mile per hour winds or greater, guys. So we've had a lot of people ask us about that. That's why we have that on our graphic. So if you need that information, it's right there in the center of the graphic, guys. But all three of those risks are hatched for the potential of seeing significant severe weather, especially across eastern Arkansas for tomorrow. That goes from Mountain Home to the Metro, to the Mayflower, the Vernonia area. I get these two names mixed up for some reason. The Mayflower area, the Vernonia area, the Lone Oak area, once again, Camden, El Dorado, Magnolia, over towards Hope, those same areas that just got to deal with severe weather last night, is back under the gun once again as we get towards tomorrow, and still under gun for today here, okay? So this is what we got at this point. I am going to go ahead and go straight into our Futurecast here in just shortly. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and get this up here. Now, our Futurecast is going to be a little bit different at this point, okay? So basically our Futurecast, there's our Futurecast model, okay? So this one's going to be a little bit different. So you're going to see the radar, and then you're going to see the instability. There's two different headers that you're seeing. So take a look at the top corner of the screen. That's for the rainfall. And then at the bottom, there's the scale for the instability, okay? So here we are at 11 o'clock this morning. We got a crazy ton of instability across northern and northwestern Arkansas at this point. Not as much across southeast, because you guys, as we saw last night, you guys saw the rainfall, the thunderstorm activity down there in southern Arkansas. So your atmosphere is still in what we call recovery mode, but it won't take much, guys, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind here, okay? So here we go as we get towards 12 o'clock today. As you can see, the instability really starts to filter back into the natural state at this point here. Now, what's going to happen right around 5 o'clock, okay, there's some showers, maybe some storms that are going to start getting going across southern Arkansas and southwestern Arkansas. Keep this in mind for today, guys. The environment will be conducive, once again, for the potential of seeing severe weather. Not as high as the threat from yesterday, and not as high as the threat from tomorrow, but still do not let your guard down with today. Don't sleep on today, folks. We can still see a couple of tornadoes. We can still see damaging winds. We can still see the hail threat for today here as well here, okay? Now, what's going to happen is you can see by 6 o'clock, we still have instability filtering in across natural. So you can see the instability still coming in even as you get into the overnight hours, okay? Because of the fact of your system beginning to move towards the east. So we've got multiple supercells on the table. It's 7 o'clock, by the way. Once again, we've got up here in northern Arkansas, supercell up here. A couple of supercells over here towards Dover area. One over here, once again, I-40. A couple down here in southeastern Arkansas. Western Arkansas, once again. They're going to be popping up at random. That's why everybody's in slight risk for today. So keep in mind, a couple of tornadoes, damaging winds, and the hail threat will be there for today, guys. Do not sleep on today's threat at this point, okay? And by the way, this live stream is going to continue until probably after the day 2 update. So you guys tune in. You guys are going to get that information right here and live, okay? And so far, live stream is great. I think I finally fixed our issue, what was going on. I wish I had figured it out last night. All right, now this is 8 o'clock. Once again, look down here in southeastern Arkansas. A couple of supercells down here in southeastern Arkansas, from Pine Bluff to Warren over here towards Arkansas County over here. The metro once again. And then we got up here near Mountain View. Again, the same areas that were just impacted last night under the target once again for potential seeing some supercell thunderstorms across the board. I'm going to get to questions here in just a little bit, but I'm going to tell you guys this now. I do foresee a tornado watch. I do foresee tornado watches coming out as we get towards the afternoon into this evening. At this point, guys, there's just too much on the table for us to not have a tornado watch at some point. If it's not a tornado watch, it'll at least be a severe thunderstorm watch here. Now, what's going to happen is those storms tonight, they're going to move into eastern Arkansas here. Now, what's going to happen is there's going to be a cluster of storms that are going to develop during the overnight hours. Okay, there could be some tornado warnings during the overnight hours tonight here. So this is going to be a late afternoon, evening, into the overnight hour time frame here. So keep that in mind down there in southern Arkansas. There may be a damaging wind threat you may have to contend with throughout the overnight hours, and this should quickly move through. And then what's going to happen is tomorrow morning, it's going to feel relatively cool across the natural state, okay? What's going to happen at this point, your atmosphere is going to become a lot more unstable. Take a look what happens by the time we get towards noon. We clear out, okay? This is something you do not want to see tomorrow. The big thing, you do not want to see skies clear out tomorrow. This is what happens. Right around noon, we clear out. Sunshine may begin to come out by the time you get towards noon. Everything clears out by the time we get towards this point. Now, what happens is, look at 2 o'clock. Look at all that instability filtering in across the natural state here. This is prime setup for severe weather as we get towards tomorrow, guys. This is the reason why we're telling you guys now, be prepared for significant severe weather as we get towards tomorrow here. And then look what happens. An explosion of supercells across eastern Arkansas, central Arkansas at this point. I want to stress this. I saw that one comment. Let me see here. Mom Donna got it correct. There's no accurate way on where these storms are going to pop up. They're going to pop up in random areas today and especially tomorrow, but we're going to have more of a widespread area across central and eastern Arkansas tomorrow versus today here. But all of these cells that you're seeing will be capable of very large hail, damaging winds, and a tornado threat. But I will say, for the beginning of the event tomorrow, I will say the tornado and hail threat will overpower the damaging wind threat at the beginning. And then when the front comes through, you will have to deal with the damaging wind threat. So it's going to be a combination of basically everything tomorrow. The significant tornado potential, the hail potential, and the damaging wind potential for tomorrow here. But these cells right here, this is where your tornado threat is going to be maximized once again. That's 40. That's down here in southeastern Arkansas, central Arkansas. You got to watch these cells too up here in northern Arkansas as well. So afternoon tomorrow, okay, that's when the ball is going to really start getting going here, okay? So you can see by the time we get towards 4 p.m., look what's going on in eastern Arkansas. Areas of supercells from Jonesboro to Wynn to Brinkley, down towards Arkansas County down there, Pine Bluff, Warren, El Dorado here. Now, you're looking at this and you're like, oh, great, most of the natural state's going to miss this. Keep in mind, folks, that the radar is not going to be 100% accurate. This is, even though it's a Futurecast, it's still a model. It's not going to be a 100% accurate radar at this point here, okay? Everybody is under the gun for severe weather for tomorrow, guys, okay? So things can and will change. We need you guys to pay attention over the next 24 to 48 hours, guys. It's going to be very crucial. I will not be surprised, especially if everything I've seen so far this morning, I will not be surprised if we had a moderate risk across eastern Arkansas, guys. So it's just an estimation of what storms could be, but I am not liking this trend because look what happens. I'm going to back this up. And look what happens, guys. We have some storms in the morning, but this cluster down here gets out of here by the time we get towards sunrise. That means much of the morning, much of the afternoon, before storms even get going, we're going to have sunshine in place, a constant stream of moisture out of Gulf of Mexico. Everything is going to be in place for the potential of seeing severe weather, potentially significant severe weather across the board at this point, guys. Everybody's at risk for potential seeing severe weather, okay? I know everybody's trying to get their questions, their city questions, their county questions answered, but everybody's at risk at this point, okay? Everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's in the same game at this time, guys, okay? The only thing is Eastern Arkansas is a higher threat versus everyone else, okay? Everybody is in the same boat at this time here, okay? So I hope that answers your city and county questions, guys, but everybody's in the same boat with this, okay? So this is what we're saying at this time. If you can go back and look, your atmosphere really becomes unstable by tomorrow, and then by the time we get towards 6 p.m., and then look what happens, by the way, okay? So your supercell threat moves out of the area, and then you have your cold front that moves through, and take a look at this. Your supercells move through at the same time, correct? Your atmosphere re-destabilizes once again behind the supercells in response to the cold front. So you could have, some areas could see significant severe weather occur multiple times tomorrow, okay? Then you have your cold front move through from Pocahontas to Little Rock down to Texarkana. This will be your damaging wind and your hail threat, and you will still have to contend with the tornado threat for tomorrow along the cold front. Tornado threat will be a little bit lower along the cold front versus the supercells ahead of it, but still you would have to contend with the tornado threat along the line, but definitely a damaging wind threat. Tornado threat and hail threat first, and then a damaging wind threat behind it. And then by the time we get towards 7 o'clock, look at there, so the line is still in Eastern Arkansas by 8 p.m. That's why I'm saying from noon tomorrow all the way to about 8, 9 o'clock in the evening, we're going to be contending with this severe weather threat across the board, guys. And unfortunately, just by the looks of everything, I am very, very concerned about the upcoming weekend, at least Saturday. Sunday, it's still debatable right now. We'll talk more about it once we get past tomorrow, but there could be additional thunderstorms. More severe weather could be on the table as we get towards this upcoming weekend, guys. We're going to talk about more about that once we get past these next 2 days, guys. But just keep that in the back of your mind for this upcoming weekend. I know it's Easter weekend, but kind of keep that in the back of your mind at this point. So I'm going to loop the Futurecast, and I'm going to answer questions here. But as I said before, I am going to leave this live stream up until we get an update from the Storm Prediction Center, guys. So just kind of keep that in mind as well here. But I'm going to answer some questions here. I'm going to try to get to you as everybody as physically as possible here. But I'm going to get Inbot up for just a bit, and I'm going to allow for the update to come out, and then we'll go from there, guys. So let me for just a bit. Let me see if I can mute this for just a second. I'm going to get the alerts up once again. Okay, so that's going to be from Storm Prediction Center, guys. So if you hear a ding, that's going to be from Day 2 update. But I'm going to loop this, let this loop through, so you guys can kind of get an accurate reading on timing, okay? So let's go ahead and tackle some questions here, guys. Okay, so what are thoughts for the Cave City area, okay? So this is what I'm saying, guys. I know everybody's trying to get their city and county questions answered, okay? It's perfectly understandable, but I want to make this crystal clear. Everybody's in the same boat for severe weather. I can't sit here and answer city and county questions because I'd be here for about 12 to 24 hours trying to do it. Everybody's in the same boat for severe weather. No matter where you are across the natural state, everybody's at risk. The entire state is under the threat for severe weather over the next 24 to 48 hours. Be prepared. Have a plan ready to go, guys. Okay? I don't mind answering some questions like that, but I need everybody to be aware of that potential at this point, okay? If you're seeing this on the map, by the way, there's 2 different time frames. There's a radar up there header, and then there's an instability header. So if you're wondering what the colors are, those are the 2 areas that you can pay attention to. But just look at there, by the way, for tomorrow afternoon, an explosion of instability across central and in eastern Arkansas here. So this loop is tonight and tomorrow, guys. The timing up here, please pay attention up here. The timing is going to be up here at the top right corner where it says storm timing. Also, while I have all you guys here, I need you guys to do me a big favor. I know the graphics. I know everybody looks and see for the colors and stuff like that. But guys, I need you guys to meet us halfway. Okay? You got to read the entire graphic. You got to read the entire graphic. I want to make it crystal clear. You got to read the entire graphic. You have to. Especially in the next 24 to 48 hours, guys, because there's a lot of information on those graphics, okay? Please keep that in mind. You got to read the entire graphic. There's going to have timing information, all the information you need to know. Don't just skim it and just share it. You got to read the graphic. That's what's going to tell you guys the information, okay? So I know everybody's looking at this. You're looking like, and I said before, don't take this for granted at this point. Okay, I know you guys are seeing radar, and a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to get skipped. I'm not worried about it. Folks, this is a model that you're looking at. This is a completely different model. This is not real time. Okay, so this is giving us an idea on what to expect for tomorrow. It's not going to be 100% accurate. It's not going to be a certainty on you will see storms. It's a good idea on what to expect across the natural state. Okay, please keep that in mind, guys. Don't just say I'm not going to see a storm and just going to let your guard down. Everybody's in the same boat. I don't know how many times I got to preach that, guys. You gotta pay attention. If the time to pay attention, it's going to be right now. Okay. Next 24 to 48 hours is going to get rough. It's going to get rough for the natural state. I know it was a long night last night, but unfortunately, that was a quarter of what we have to deal with. Okay, so keep that in mind at this point here. Okay, so please read the graphic, guys. I can't sit here and answer those questions here. Everybody's in the same boat. No matter where you are, everybody's in the same boat for tomorrow, guys. We got to get through the next 24 to 48 hours at this point, okay? So, yeah, I know the crystal ball I'm shining up right now here. I'm pretty confident in my forecast skills, but I'm not Jason Hampton. He's another level, guys. I don't know how he comes up with this stuff, but he called the severe threat this week. I was actually looking at his stuff, and I was like, man, how does he do it? But this is what we got at this point, guys. And here's the thing, okay? If you're wondering what timing is, this is about as big as I can get it, guys. I don't know what the issue is, but this is the timing at this point. Also, this is going to be posted. This is going to be posted after the live stream, so you don't have to worry about it at this point, okay? So there's timing at this point, guys. So before, I know everybody's trying to focus on certain timing. Have a game plan ready to go for the next 24 to 48 hours. Everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's in the same risk at this time here, okay? Western Arkansas, you're in a slight risk. Eastern Arkansas, you're in the enhanced risk at this time here. Everybody's in the same boat across the board. Have a plan ready to go. We've been preaching about this for the last time here. I'm going to try to slow this down so you guys can see it. So give me 1 second. I'm going to try to slow this down so you guys can see just a little bit shorter here. Give me 1 second, okay? But, hold on. Let me see here. It is... Okay. Alright, I'm going to try to see if I can slow this down just a little bit, okay? Hold on. Give me 1 second here. I hope that slowed it down just a little bit. Okay, hold on. Let me reloop this real quick so it can do it. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, because I know everybody was wondering about why it was going so fast. Okay, so hold on. Let me reloop. So it's gonna. Okay, all right. Give me 1 second. All right. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. I know I went silent for a second, but bear with me for just a bit. I'm trying to slow this down a little bit so you guys can see what's going on. Okay, so I'm gonna clear this off again. Let me go here. And also, by the way, this is gonna get posted on the page as soon as this live stream's over. So you're not really missing anything. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to slow this down just a little bit so you guys can see it. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna slow this down so you guys can see just a little bit. Okay, and it's going hour by hour, so it's gonna slow down just a little bit. Okay, so sorry about that, folks. I had to slow it down for just a little bit. All right, but that's what we got going at this point here. Okay, so keep that in mind across the natural state here. So I'm gonna answer a few more questions here. Also, I know there's a lot of people asking about if certain areas are gonna get hit again and stuff like that. Guys, have a plan ready to go for tomorrow here. I can't stress that enough. You need to have a plan ready to go for tomorrow. Okay, everybody's in the same boat for tomorrow. Look at the instability. And I said before, this is slowed down to about hour by hour, okay? Look what's going on. It's slowed down to a point. So the instability is kind of coming in at this point across central Arkansas, across eastern Arkansas at this time. All right? This is 3 p.m. tomorrow, and then it's going to start going from there. Please keep that in mind, guys. I know everybody's trying to figure out what's going on, but everybody's in the same boat. Don't focus on the highest risk areas and stuff like that. Please keep in mind that everybody's going to be in the same boat. Now, if I would say there's going to be a moderate, it's going to be in eastern Arkansas. I mean, there's no getting away from this, because you have a supercell threat and a line threat you'll have to contend with. But Western Arkansas, once this loops through, you're going to see what's going to happen first thing Wednesday morning. You could start the ball over there in Western Arkansas first thing Wednesday morning across the area, okay? My advice about schools. Number one thing I want to say about schools. It is a number one thing that everybody asks us about. If you want to keep your kid at home for tomorrow, go ahead. We're not going to stop you, all right? But at the same time, please keep in mind that schools, businesses, everything else have tornado plans ready to go, okay? Keep that in mind for tomorrow. If you want to keep your kid at home, that's perfectly okay. That's perfectly fine. I understand. But schools and businesses have their own tornado plans safety to go, okay? And also, one more thing, all right? What's going on is, for tomorrow, this is going to be coming in during that 2-3 o'clock time frame. If a tornado warning goes out at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, do not attempt to go pick up your kid from school, okay? Schools and businesses have their own tornado plans, okay? Don't risk trying to go pick your kid up from school, because first of all, you're going to run straight into a line and you're not going to be able to do it, and then you're putting yourself at risk because you're outside trying to do it. Take tornado precautions. Feel safe on the fact that kids at schools, they have their tornado plans. Schools are built to have those tornado plans at this point, guys. Okay, so Cal, I see your question. Yes, we were able to get rest. I was able to get a good amount of rest last night. The storms ended around 11 o'clock. We got back to the studio. We were ready to get some kind of rest at this point. But we're ready to go for the next 48 hours. All right, we have our studio ready to go. We have our technology fits. We're ready. All right. So if you guys are wondering about what's going on with the colors, as I said before, I'm going to make this crystal clear. At the top of the screen is the header. The bottom is the instability, okay? Those are the two colors at this point, okay? So what you're looking at the bottom is the instability, okay? And then you have radar on top of that, okay? I don't know if I can make that as much crystal clear as possible, guys, but I have these two headers for a reason. All right, so that's what's going on at this point here, okay? But the radar has slowed down to a crawl, so you guys have a better visual on what's going on at this point here, okay? So how is it looking for the Valonia area and stuff like that? Folks, said again, specific city and county questions, I'm not going to be able to answer. Everybody's in the same boat. I'm gonna say this, okay? If you're wondering about your city and county and you have severe weather, have a plan. Just have a plan ready to go. Even if you don't see a storm, have a plan ready to go. Tornado warning goes out, have a plan. Okay? So if you have shelter questions, feel free to inbox us as well. The inboxes have calmed down, so you may have a better shot at getting your question answered, excuse me. But just keep that in mind, guys. Okay? It is something that we'll answer in the messages at this time. Okay? So Dustin, if you get into trouble by getting out of the storm, if you don't have to, yeah, there you go. Alright, so therefore, guys, yeah, and Terry, that's a good point. Most schools will not let you check them out if there's a tornado warning happening. Most schools won't let you do it to begin with. So keep that in mind. Schools have their tornado plans ready to go. Alright, they have a plan ready to go for tomorrow and stuff like that. So feel assured about that. But if you want to keep your kid at home tomorrow, I promise you, it'll be perfectly okay. Alright, see here. It's a few more questions, guys. Okay, so travel tomorrow from Jonesboro to Little Rock. What time? What time are you planning on traveling? If it's first thing in the morning, it shouldn't be that bad. But if it's during the afternoon and evening, I wouldn't recommend it, because you're going to run straight into severe weather. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, my school does not have a storm shelter. Okay, if you know that your school doesn't have a storm shelter, keep your kids at home. Okay, so let me see here. Okay. Alright, let me see here. Okay, so so there's a lot of people asking about what to do during a tornado warning. Okay, so the best thing to do during a tornado warning is to get away from the exterior walls, get away from the windows. Okay, you want to put as many walls between you and the outside as physically possible. You want to basically build a fort around you, because you don't want to be outside, but you want to put as much protection between you and the outside as possible, which is the walls. That could be a bathroom, that could be a closet, it could be a bedroom. Anything that is in the lowest and more center portion of your home, that's the best area, okay? If you're doing that, I would highly recommend getting a pillow or a bicycle helmet or something to protect your head from flying debris, okay? that'd be the best thing to do, and make sure you cover down and you hunker down at that point, guys. Okay, so the lowest, more central portion of your home, away from the windows, away from exterior walls, guys. And if the lowest, more central portion of your home has windows, you want to stay away from those windows. Okay, you want to put as much protection between you and the outside as physically possible. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind here. So before Futurecast, it's crawling. It's going to be a very slow speed on the Futurecast, guys. So it's going to be moving in pretty quickly. Okay, so the overnight event, there's a lot of people asking about the instability. I'm going to tell you this with the instability right now. Yeah, it's going to be low during the overnight hours here, but I still think you'll have a little bit of severe weather down there in southern Arkansas that you'll have to contend with the line of storms that are pushed through. Now, it's right here at the morning, and this is what I'm saying. You may have to contend with some cells across northwestern Arkansas, north central Arkansas. Maybe a few may get going down there in southwestern Arkansas tomorrow, but they're going to struggle because you're going to have what's called an EML moving through. What basically EML means elevated mid-slayer or dry air aloft, basically in layman's terms. And basically what it's going to do, it's going to kill your thunderstorm activity. It's going to kill it. So any chance of us getting away from this tomorrow, because the saving grace, our saving grace was the morning activity. We get dry air in place tomorrow morning, it's game over. It's done. You're going to have some. You're going to make a run for a significant severe weather event tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind across the board. And you can see what our Futurecast, because it's crawling. It's right around 11 o'clock now. All that instability beginning to move into Arkansas, because what's happening is your dry air from the southwest is killing your thunderstorm activity. Okay, so your thunderstorm activity is basically gone by 11 o'clock. So that means you have probably sunshine out, some partly cloudy skies. Instability is really moving in. I would not be shocked. I don't know why at this point we don't have a moderate, but I wouldn't be shocked if we had a moderate by the time we get towards tomorrow here, guys. So stay with us, guys. Probably within the next 5 to 10 minutes, we should have an update from the Storm Prediction Center here, and I'm going to see if they made any changes with it. Okay. Also, one more thing, Lee, you do not want dry air with this setup. You don't want it, because what's going to happen is that dry air is going to move away, but it's killing your morning activity. So your morning activity will be your best shot of trying to beat this event. You do not want that dry air coming in first thing in the morning, because that'll kill your morning activity. And then what's going to happen, your moisture is going to come rushing back because your system is beginning to come out. And then that's where you're going to see the potential of seeing severe weather. Okay, so this is noon tomorrow, by the way. This is this is our Futurecast for tomorrow. Nothing. Absolutely nothing across the board. I mean, northwest Arkansas, you've got some storms across that area. You may have to contend with a severe threat, but nothing across the board at 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. That's pretty scary. That's something you do not want to see on a severe day, because what's going on is there's no morning thunderstorms, nothing going on to kind of kill the atmosphere. And then what happens? Here's 2 o'clock, by the way. All that instability coming rushing into the natural state. Okay, so that's what we have at this point. And so far, I know everybody's tuning in, trying to get their questions answered for their city and county. I'm gonna make this crystal clear. Have a plan ready to go. It's the entire state. It's the entire state. That's gonna be my answer for your specific city and county questions. Okay, you're at risk for severe weather. Have a plan. That's the best thing I can tell you at this point. Everybody's gonna be in the same boat for tomorrow. Everybody's in the same boat for severe weather, no matter where you are. The only thing that's different is that eastern Arkansas has a better shot of significant severe weather than western. But even then, you can still see severe weather across western Arkansas. So that's going to be my answer to the specific city and county questions. Have a plan ready to go. Have a severe weather plan ready to go for tomorrow. Everything's going to be in place for the potential of seeing severe weather here. Again, you can see by 3 o'clock, I mean, timing has really slowed down with this event. And whenever you're dealing with severe weather, a couple things you need to kind of pay attention to. So I'm going to stop the Futurecast for just a second, and I'm going to tell you guys about what's going on for tomorrow, okay? So let me back this up, okay? And I'm going to back this up to about 11 o'clock. Notice you have little to no shower thunderstorm activity. Basically what's going on is what's called an email. And bear my drawing for just a bit, okay? Okay, so an email, basically what an email is all that dry air coming in from the southwest. Okay, so basically what's going on, it's killing your environment. Not killing your environment, excuse me. It's killing the storms for in the morning. Okay, that means that your environment is going to be primed, ready to go for tomorrow. All right, that means everything's going to be in place for the potential of seeing severe weather for tomorrow here. So that's what we call an email kind of pushing through tomorrow. And then at lunch, you're completely clear. Now, as I said before, where your front boundary beginning to make its way in tomorrow, up there in northwestern Arkansas, that's where your tornado threat, your hail threat, and your wind threat up here will be maximized up here in northwestern Arkansas for tomorrow. Because your front boundary is just now making it into northwestern Arkansas by lunch tomorrow. By lunch. That is something you do not want in Arkansas. You want this front in and out by lunch. We've had previous events where the front boundary has been here by lunch. That means your severe threat's over. Your front boundary now is just now coming into northwest Arkansas. I mean, it's not even in Arkansas by lunch. So that means that this entire area right here, this entire area is going to be at risk for seeing severe weather for tomorrow. Your atmosphere is just going to be primed and ready to go for tomorrow. If I could show you guys shear, I would. The shear profiles is absolutely ridiculous for tomorrow, on top of the instability we're going to have in place here. So I really hope that kind of simplified what to expect for tomorrow here. So before the Futurecast, I'm resumed the Futurecast for tomorrow here. But you can see a couple of cells start getting going across northwestern Arkansas. Those will be capable of producing large hail, damaging winds, and a tornado threat. But take a look at most of your risk area for tomorrow. Nothing by 2 o'clock. And then all of a sudden, by 3, cells start popping up across I-30, down towards 530, down towards eastern and southeastern Arkansas. I said before, do not let your guard down at this point here. Now, I know there was everybody asking about the western Arkansas enhancements. What's going on over there? Colton, there was some uncertainty with the front boundary coming in and wiping out your atmosphere for tomorrow. Okay, there was some uncertainty over there in western Arkansas. It was going to come in like first thing in the morning and wipe your atmosphere out. I don't think that's the case anymore. Don't be shocked if that enhancement gets pushed back west. Don't be shocked if that happens, just because of your environment, the shear in place. Could storms start getting going over there with the initiation start, stuff like that. That's going to be the case. But yeah, I would definitely wouldn't be shocked if that got pushed further west. But there was some uncertainty over the last 2 days about is this going to push through and stuff like that at this point here. Okay, so before Futurecast is going to be going. By the way, I know everybody was wondering why the Futurecast was going so fast. So I kind of slowed it down to a crawl. But that's what's going on at this point here, guys. But you can see right at 3 o'clock and then right at 4 and stuff like that, it's just moving through very, very slowly across the area. Now, you can see by the time we get towards 5, there's your supercell threat coming up across eastern Arkansas, and then you have a line you have to contend with. You got to deal with a damaging wind threat with this line of storms as well here with the front boundary coming through. So it's a combination of both. It's a damaging wind, hail, very large hail threat, by the way, and a significant tornado potential tomorrow, okay, across much of the natural state. All right, so even along the line, I'm going to stress this too, even along the line, you run the risk of potential tornadoes. It could be some significant tornadoes on the line. That's the issue we're dealing with for tomorrow. There's so much shear in place, you will still deal with strong tornado potential along the line itself, and I'm getting worried. And the more I look at guidance, I'm starting to get concerned that this may not be a line. This may not be a line of storms pushing through. This may be what we call a broken line of cells kind of moving through Arkansas. If this stays supercellular during the entire event, you're going to heighten up your tornado threat. Your tornado threat is going to go through the roof. Our biggest savior with this event is that you get your supercells moving through, and then you have a line that pushes through at this point. Right now, it's uncertain. I'm very worried that this may not be a line of storms. If it stays supercellular this entire event, you're going to heighten up that tornado threat. The tornado is going to go higher than it already is. So just kind of keep that in mind here. I mean, even though it's a damaging wind and hail threat, and the tornado threat along the line is way better than this thing staying a supercell threat during the entire time here. Folks, I will make this crystal clear as well. We do not issue torcons. We don't do that. We don't issue watches. We don't issue warnings. We don't issue advisories. We don't issue torcons. All we do is report. That's all we do. Okay? That's all we do across this board. That's it. That's all we do, guys. We don't issue that type of stuff. We just report. I feel flattered that you guys think that we do that, because that means we're doing a great job reporting, and we're doing an excellent job of keeping you guys updated. But yeah, I would. Okay, there it is. All right, thank you for that. We now have a new moderate risk across eastern Arkansas. We have a moderate risk now across eastern Arkansas at this point area. Okay, so I'm gonna read the new information we just got from the Storm Prediction Center. We now have a new moderate risk across eastern Arkansas here. I'm gonna get that information up at this point, but as I said before, we do now have a moderate risk across eastern Arkansas here. So it's gonna come up here just shortly, and we'll show you guys this graphically here shortly. Here it's gonna take a little second or two for it to load up on my software. But we now have a moderate risk that just got issued from the Storm Prediction Center for tomorrow here. Okay, this is going to go for much of eastern Arkansas. The enhanced risk has been pushed back to the west, by the way, Colton. It's been, as I mentioned that earlier, we do now have a moderate risk for much of eastern Arkansas for tomorrow, and this does include Jonesboro as well here. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Futurecast off for just a bit. All right. It's going to come back up, by the way, but I got to take the Futurecast off for just a second here to show you guys this graphically. All right, so it's going to come up here shortly. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to zoom this out. All right, and we're going to go back here. So it's going to take a second or two for it to load up on here because it just came out. But there's the new day 2 moderate. It should be coming in. There it is, right there. All right. This is the newest information from the Storm Prediction Center. We do now have a moderate risk across eastern Arkansas at this point, guys. Please keep that in mind, guys. I'm going to go ahead and talk to you guys about the situation here from the Storm Prediction Center. I'm getting new information in by the second here, so bear me for just a bit. Still before this is the reason why I did this live stream, but we now have a new moderate risk across eastern Arkansas. If you know anybody that needs this information, please tag them our way, guys. I cannot stress that enough, but as I said before, this is what we got. At this point, we do have a new moderate. The header's fixing to change, by the way. Give me 1 second, okay? So this is what we got, all right? Moderate risk for eastern Arkansas at this time here. And then we've been talking about this. So it's going to go for the just east of El Dorado, for Warren to Pine Bluff, up towards Pocahontas. This does include Jonesboro, Memphis, West Helena, Dumas, this area here, Warren, Monticello, Crossett. This area here in eastern Arkansas, you are now in a moderate risk for seeing severe weather for tomorrow here. The enhanced risk has been pushed further to the west at this point here. The enhanced risk goes from, I would say, give me 1 second here, it goes from just west of Harrison to Clarksville down towards Taylor, Arkansas. That's down there in southern Arkansas at this point here. So this is the moderate risk at this point, guys. Said before, don't focus on this thing getting pushed into central Arkansas, guys. You guys are in the 10% at this point here. Now, let's talk about the tornado threat, okay? There's the tornado threat at this point, 10% hatched across much of Arkansas at this time here. But you see this area down here in southeastern Arkansas. This is now a high risk for seeing tornadoes over here. That's saying 15% area over here in southeastern Arkansas. This is going to go forward tomorrow, guys, okay? This is going forward tomorrow. I cannot stress this enough. This is going forward tomorrow, all right? This is the enhanced risk now for tomorrow. Now, from Russellville down to just east of Texarkana at this point. Do not, and I want to repeat this, do not let your guard down just because you're not in the moderate risk. The enhanced risk includes much of Arkansas at this time. Do not let your guard down just because you're not in the moderate risk at this point, okay? Now, let's talk about the wind threat as well here. Now, the wind threat's coming in. There it is right there, and you see the purple over here. This one is for the potential of seeing significant damaging winds in excess of 75 miles per hour or greater. All right, keep this in mind for tomorrow. The enhanced risk is now for the enhanced risk for damaging winds is now across western Arkansas at this time here. Okay, please keep this in mind. Don't focus on just a moderate risk. Focus on the enhanced risk. Focus on the slight risk. Everybody's in boat for severe weather for tomorrow. Okay. This is the newest information that you have at this point here. Okay, now we're going to go over to the significant tornado parameters. Okay, this is what I mean. This is the entire central, northern, eastern, down into southern Arkansas. This entire threat is at risk for seeing significant tornadoes. Okay, this is our significant tornado parameter at this point here for tomorrow from Storm Prediction Center. Russellville down to just east of Nashville, down to over here about Magnolia, El Dorado, Crossett, Camden, Little Rock, Memphis, Jonesboro. This area right here at this point, this is the moderate risk at this time here, okay? Now, I'm going to read the newest information from the Storm Prediction Center. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to read that to you guys graphically here, okay? So, this is the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. I figured they were going to go moderate with this update. That's why I wanted to get this update out for you guys as quickly as I could here, okay? So, this is it at this point here, okay? So, that's for the damaging wind and the hail threat. I want to see what the hail threat is as well with this, okay? So, the hail threat with this one still remains 15%, but I believe there is a hatched area for hail threat at this point here, okay? So, what about today? Today is a slight risk across much of Arkansas. A couple of tornadoes, damaging winds, large hail. If you guys missed the beginning, feel free to rewind the live stream, okay? But as said before, if you're just now tuning in, we do now have a moderate risk for severe weather across eastern Arkansas here. From Jonesboro to Pine Bluff to El Dorado east at this point here. That is right along the Mississippi River at this time here. That includes Memphis, Clarksville in this area. Do not let your guard down just because you're not in a moderate risk. The enhanced risk includes much of Arkansas, okay? And then your slight risk across western Arkansas as well here, okay? So let's talk about a moderate risk at this point, and we'll see what the newest information from the Storm Prediction Center here, okay? So numerous severe thunderstorms appear likely across a large portion of the lower Mississippi Valley into the Midwest and lower Ohio Valley on Wednesday. Damaging winds, which some could be significant. Tornadoes, strong tornadoes possible. Large to very large hail is likely to occur at this point, okay? Now, I'm going to scroll down here, all right? So, just looking at everything here, okay? So, basically, layman's terms, the latest CAM solutions with the signal of isolated convection is notable, and with the installment guidance is warning an upgrade to a moderate risk, okay? So the tornado threat is highest in the moderate risk area, okay? That's where the tornado threat is at its maximum across the moderate risk. That does not mean the enhanced risk is not going to see anything. That doesn't mean the slight risk is not going to see anything, okay? Everybody's in boat for the potential of seeing severe weather for tomorrow. The greater shot of seeing severe weather is going to be across eastern Arkansas. We have a moderate risk for severe weather for eastern Arkansas. That's Jonesboro. That's 40 once again. Pine Bluff, Stuttgart, Gillette, down towards Crossett. Okay, El Dorado once again. All right, Little Rock, you're in the enhanced risk area. But please do not let your guard down with this, because here's the reason why, okay? We're going to go over to our tornado outlook here. So give me 1 second. I'm going to switch this over to our tornado outlook for just a bit, okay? And I'm going to show you guys this graphically, all right? So this is going to be our tornado outlook at this point, all right? Take a look at something. Western Arkansas, you're in a low risk for seeing tornadoes for tomorrow. That area will still be impacted by severe weather, okay? Notice something. From Mountain Home to Russellville to Camden, El Dorado to Jonesboro at this point, everybody else in here, you're still in a medium risk. You're still in the medium risk for seeing tornadoes at this point, guys. That means you're still on the table. Take advantage of this. Yesterday was a 10% for much of the area. We saw what happened with the 10%, okay? That's a medium risk. Medium risk means you can still see tornadoes in those areas, okay? But take a look down here. Right here in southeastern Arkansas. That's what we call a high area, high risk for seeing tornadoes down here across southeastern Arkansas for tomorrow. Let's zoom in and show you guys this a little graphically. So that includes the following cities. That's Helena, Stuttgart, Pine Bluff, Warren, just to the east of El Dorado at this point, but Crossett, Lake Village, down here in southeastern Arkansas along the river. That is where the moderate risk is for the potential of seeing tornadoes. That's that 15% area down here in southeastern Arkansas. Okay? Then your medium risk. Do not let your guard down just because you're not in this red area. Okay? I don't know why that's the thing with severe weather, but do not let your guard down just because you're in this medium area. Okay? Then you have your low area over here. Then you have your very low. I'll just put it this way. Your very low is not even in Arkansas anymore. It's in Oklahoma now. Alright? That means everybody's in boat for the potential of seeing severe weather across the area. Okay? Jonesboro and Maumelle, answer your question. The one thing I want to stress, you will run the potential of seeing severe weather. So please be careful if you're planning on traveling this evening. But back to what I was saying before, guys. This is what we have at this point. Alright? Let me go back over to our categorical risk at this point, okay? I'm going to switch to header as well so you guys can see what I mean here, guys. But the moderate risk does not include Eastern Arkansas. So if you're just now tuning in, please send this out to your family and friends, guys. This is an urgent situation. We do have a moderate risk across Eastern Arkansas for tomorrow here. Guys, I've gone over timing 1,000,000 times, all right? From noon tomorrow to 8 o'clock. Lodge it in your head, guys. I've gone over timing 1,000,000 times. From 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon to 8 p.m., okay? If you need timing information, please check out the page, guys. All that information is going to be there. All the information is on our graphics, guys. But timing for tomorrow is from 12 o'clock to 8 p.m. area-wide, okay? When is it supposed to start today? From 6 p.m. to 1 o'clock in the morning. I've gone over timing 1,000,000 times, guys, okay? This is what we got at this point here. This is the moderate risk across Eastern Arkansas for tomorrow, the enhanced risk here, and then a slight risk across Western Arkansas. Let's talk about today. This is today's threat. Slight risk across much of Arkansas at this point, all right? Timing is from 6 p.m. this evening to 1 o'clock in the morning. We've gone over the Futurecast. We've gone over timing. Everything you need to know is on the page, guys. I cannot stress that enough, all right? Slight risk across much of Arkansas, and then tomorrow, the big threat, a moderate risk across Eastern Arkansas at this point. Enhanced risk here, and then slight risk across Western Arkansas as well here, guys, okay? Now, let's talk about the hail potential as well. So, for the hail potential, 15% for tomorrow, but the significant hail potential across Eastern Arkansas, and that's the area of concern from basically Mountain Home to Mountain View, down to Conway, down towards Hope, down towards Magnolia, El Dorado, Crossit, Camden, Warren, Pine Bluff, Memphis, West Memphis, and Jonesboro at this point here, guys, okay? So, 6 p.m. to 1 in the morning for today. Noon to 8 o'clock tomorrow evening for tomorrow. Let me repeat that. 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. tonight, noon to 8 o'clock tomorrow, okay? Repeat it after me, guys. 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. tonight, noon to 8 o'clock tomorrow, okay? That's what we have at this point. That's going to be our timing for tomorrow. Morgan, I know that's been a number one question. Could this moderate risk move into Central Arkansas? If, and I mean only if, we get enough agreement on Supercell potential here in Central Arkansas, then I can see that. What's going on right now is high-risk guidance is all over the place. I mean, it's all over the place at this point. So, what we're doing right now is they're breaking down the risk for the greatest areas. Ryan, that's the number one thing I'm worried about. Little Rock doesn't look bad tomorrow. Get rid of that thinking. Please, get rid of that thinking. I'm literally begging you at this point, get rid of that thinking. Enhanced risk for Little Rock for tomorrow. There is a enhanced risk here in Little Rock for tomorrow. Do not let your guard down at this point. That's the number one thing I'm worried about with a moderate risk. Okay, because you have a moderate risk in Eastern Arkansas, and then you have an enhanced risk in Central Arkansas, and everyone's thinking, okay, you're not in a moderate, then you're not going to see anything. Get rid of that thinking, please. We saw an enhanced risk last night. We all saw what happened. Take your severe weather plans seriously, guys, okay? Please, I cannot stress that enough at this point here, okay? We have a moderate risk across Eastern Arkansas at this point. Enhanced risk here. Slight risk across Western Arkansas. Let me go back to it one more time so you guys can see it. Do not, and I want to repeat this, let your guard down just because you're in enhanced risk at this point. Okay? I don't know why that's an issue. I don't know why everybody thinks because you're not in a moderate risk, you're not going to see anything. Enhanced, slight risk, thunderstorms do not care on where your threats are. They do not care at this point here, guys. Okay? Please keep that in mind across the Astro State. Okay? This is not going to be our last live either. I may do a quick video blog about around 2-3 o'clock this afternoon, but do not focus on that threat, guys, okay? Also, I'm getting a lot of people asking about a high risk. It's going to be very hard to get a high risk out of this, okay? It's going to be very, very hard to get a high risk out of this because of the fact of uncertainties on Supercells versus the line at this point. I will say this just to be on the safe side, okay? If, and I mean only if, this thing stays super cellular through the entire event, okay, we may make a run for it. It's going to be very, very hard to get a high risk out of this. It's going to be extremely hard to get it. I think a moderate risk is more than enough. I think moderate risk is more than enough at this point. As a matter of fact, I think an enhanced risk is more than enough, okay? Slight risk is there, okay? So keep that in mind, guys. Ryan, I wasn't getting on to you anything like that, brother. I appreciate that so much. I don't want anyone letting their guard down with this, man. I really don't, okay? I know you're not in the moderate risk. I know Eastern Ark. I know Little Rock's in the enhanced. Please don't let your guard down, man. Please. That's just me urging you guys so much not to let your guard down just because you're not in the moderate risk, okay? The enhanced risk is just as important. The slight risk is just as important. Take a look at what happened in northwestern Arkansas. There was a marginal slight risk. Springdale, EF3 tornado, okay? We've had tornadoes happen in the enhanced risk. Look what happened in the Cabot, Jacksonville area yesterday. Enhanced risk. You had an area of a significant tornado went through, okay? You could still get tornadoes even in a marginal risk, okay? Keep that in mind at this point, guys. Could this push westward? Potentially. I really wouldn't be surprised if it did at this point. But I think this is a really good area for maximize heating and to maximize shear in place for tomorrow, okay? So southeastern Arkansas, 15% for that tornado potential. Widespread area of a 10%. And then over in western Arkansas, you're in the 5 right now at this point. Okay? You're over here in the 5 area, but don't let your guard down. I call this 5% magic for a reason. 10% here. Okay? And then 15 down here in southeastern Arkansas for tomorrow. Okay? I'm going to tell you this right now. Mama Donna, if you're still in this phone call, I may be paying you a visit tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see on what happens with everything in terms of how everything looks, but I may be paying you a visit tomorrow. So stay weather aware. Cam hit it right on the nail. Okay? Statewide, be weather aware for tomorrow here, guys. I do realize people are kind of leaving the live stream because other platforms are live. It doesn't matter at this point. I've gone over all the information at this time, guys, okay? Stay with us, guys. Continue to follow our updates. So forth, this information will be posted on the page immediately after this live stream. We have a moderate risk in place for Eastern Arkansas for tomorrow here. I cannot stress that enough at this point here, okay? You can see this was going on. Moderate risk, Eastern Arkansas, enhanced risk, and then slight risk. Let's go back to today. Kind of give you guys a little bit of the perspective of what happens today, okay? Slight risk. So forward. Today's risk is a lot lower than yesterday's risk and tomorrow's risk. But do not let your guard down across this area. You will still see severe weather as we get towards this evening and into tonight across the board here, okay? Current temperature right now, 80 degrees here in Little Rock. It is a very, very humid 80 degrees as well here, okay? So the environment is quickly becoming unstable for tomorrow and even for tonight as well here, guys. We have that severe threat for tonight, and we had a severe threat for tomorrow here, okay? Stay with us for updates, guys. We're going to have coverage once again from the studio. No one's going to be taking over from the studio, so we shouldn't have any issues with the live stream tonight, okay? And then we're going to have coverage from the road. I'm going to be filtering NOAA reports. We're going to be on the road tonight as well. And then tomorrow, the main event, moderate risk Eastern Arkansas, enhanced risk across Central Arkansas, and then Western Arkansas, the slight risk area. Do not let your guard down for tomorrow, folks. What I want you guys to do tonight, have a plan ready to go. Review severe weather plans with your family and friends so they can stay updated, okay? See here, I'm going to answer a few more questions, and then I'm going to hop off of here and get the information out, kind of rest up a little bit, and get ready for this evening here, okay? So, let me see here. Okay, so last time I told my family we need to get in the shelter, they didn't listen. Yeah, so, okay, yeah, thank you, Colton, for that comment, guys. Force people to listen, okay? You have to force everyone to listen during severe weather. There's no way around it, guys. I know a lot of people are like, okay, well, it's not going to happen, stuff like that. I'll believe it when I see it. Don't have that mindset with severe weather. It's okay to have it for winter weather, but don't have it for severe weather. Because if you have that mindset for severe weather, you're going to get screwed every time, okay? Winter weather is one thing, severe weather is another. So please, please, please keep that in mind at this point here, okay? So before, if you're in a slight risk area over there in western Arkansas, you will still see severe weather. You're going to be starting the ball. I'll say, okay, so I'll take it just like this, put it in perspective so you guys kind of understand it, okay? You're running a race across Arkansas. Your starting point, as I always mention, is out here. And you're making a marathon through the natural state. You're beginning the marathon in western Arkansas. And then you get to your peak of the marathon as you get into eastern Arkansas, and then it drops off. That's what this risk is, if put it in perspective. Starting line here, starts up, peaks out, and then it drops. That's basically the severe weather threat for tomorrow. I hope that put that in a little bit of perspective at this point here. So starting point at this point over here, pushing eastward. Hurricane force winds, by the way, in this moderate risk. Let's go talk about that real quick at this point. I'm going to change the header so you guys can see it real quick, and then I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here so you guys can see what we're so you guys can get this information on the page. Okay, so there's damaging wind threat for them all. Look at there, significant from Pocahontas to Jonesboro to Memphis down towards Clarksdale. This is the area of concern over here in northeastern Arkansas, eastern Arkansas for the damaging wind potential, okay? And then the enhanced risk area, the high risk for damaging winds, goes all the way back to western Arkansas at this point. And then the low risk from Bella Vista to Fort Smith, down towards Mena, down towards Texarkana at this time here across western Arkansas. Keep that in mind. Please take this seriously, folks, okay? Don't be one of those folks that say, okay, well, it's not going to happen. I believe it when I see it. Take it seriously, folks, okay? I cannot stress that enough at this current time here, okay? So I wouldn't be shocked. So before, I'm going to back this up and give you guys my thoughts. And the reason why we're at a starting, I'll just say this, we're in a good area for a moderate risk. I think it's in a really good area right now, okay? I really do. I want to give credit to the Storm Prediction Center for their hard work as well, because they're working just as hard as us, all right? I think this is a really good area, but the problem is right now, for it to come west, you need supercell activity out here. You need supercell activity to develop across western Arkansas here. So I wouldn't be shocked, I'll say this, I wouldn't be shocked if the moderate risk kind of ended up by its final solution kind of through here, okay? I wouldn't be shocked if that happens, okay? I wouldn't be shocked if that was the moderate risk kind of gets bumped out just a little bit to the west. The enhanced risk over here is perfect. The slight risk over here is perfect. The moderate risk over here is even better. Okay, so I think this is a really good outlook. And so before, I think I would personally kind of bump it just like this. I would do it just like this, because said before, you have to watch and wait and see what happens with the supercell threat here. But just don't be shocked if it gets bumped just a little bit to the west. I mean, just a little bit. I think it's still in a good area, though. I think eastern Arkansas is going to be in the brunt of this. And keep in mind, I know eastern Arkansas is a relatively rural area, but this moderate risk is for the entire eastern half of Arkansas. It's all of eastern Arkansas at this point. All right? So that's major areas. That's Jonesboro. That's Memphis. That's Brinkley. That's Stuttgart, Gillette down here. That's Monticello, Cosset, over here towards the county over here in Union County over here, okay? That's what I'm saying, guys. These are really populated areas over here. That's Piggott over here. That's Pocahontas. This isn't a really populated area here in eastern Arkansas, okay? Pine Bluff as well, all right? So please keep that in mind. I know the moderate risk seems kind of low across eastern Arkansas, but that's what I'm saying. Don't let your guard down in this area. This is a really good area that people still tune in for that information across eastern Arkansas. All right, so this is for tomorrow. I'm gonna stress this. Day 2. That's for tomorrow. Okay, this is not for today. Let me back this up. This is for today. The slight risk area. Okay, still, I will say this. Okay, treat today like it was tomorrow. Treat today like it was tomorrow, guys. Moderate risk across western Arkansas, across eastern Arkansas. Greater threat across southeastern Arkansas for the potential of tornadoes, but do not let your guard down across the area, okay? Let me repeat timing. 6 p.m., 1 a.m. tonight. Noon to 8 o'clock tomorrow. 6 p.m. tonight, 1 a.m. tonight. Noon to 8 p.m. tomorrow, okay? Lodge down your head, all right? 6 p.m., 1 a.m. tonight. 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. tomorrow, okay? That is going to be the risk. Like I said before, I'm really worried that this is going to be a supercell event. And this ends up, I will say this, this ends up being a supercell threat that you're going to make a run for a high risk out of this. Because of the fact that you have a negative tilted trough, a crazy ton of instability coming in, you're definitely going to make a run for that if this stays supercellular at this point here, okay? So, yeah, I know Facebook does not like us at this point, guys. Colton, I think I know what happened last night. It was half Facebook, half our broadcasting software. I figured out what was going on, and I've got it fixed, so we don't have to worry about that problem. I'll take this, I'd rather have that problem last night versus tomorrow, because tomorrow's threat is even higher than what last night was. So last night was a crazy night. Wednesday is going to be even worse. So I would rather have had the problems Monday versus Wednesday. But I think I've gotten it figured out at this point, guys. I said before, I had to take a look and make sure what was going on, and then we're good here. So, yeah, Facebook does have trouble handling viewers over 5,000. We had 6,000 people on our live stream last night, guys. Tremendous. Our record was probably 2,000-3,000 at max. We blew that out of the water last night, guys. So, yeah, we're gonna have updates, live updates, constantly. Okay, so we're gonna have live updates constantly across the board. So what you're looking at right now, this is for today's risk. I'm gonna leave this up, but tomorrow you have a moderate risk across eastern Arkansas now. Enhanced risk for much of Arkansas, the slight risk in the area. The marginal risk that was in northwestern Arkansas has been bumped away. So now everybody's from slight up at this point. That means you need to be prepared for severe weather for tomorrow here, okay? So, let me see here. Yeah, that's funny comment, make a run. Yeah, basically what I mean for making a run, is it's gonna push for high risk if that happens. If you stay super cellular throughout the entire event, okay? If that happens, then you may make a run for a high risk across eastern Arkansas. We'll have to wait and see at this point. I'm going to go back to day 2. I'm not calling, and by the way, I'm not calling for a high risk or anything like that. For anybody starts posting on Facebook, I'm calling for a high risk. But I will say this, okay? If your moderate risk gets bumped this far west, what may happen in a concentrated area where they think the severe threat is maximized and there's a great amount of confidence in it, that may include a small area. I mean, a very small area. It'd probably either be in eastern Arkansas, either northwest Mississippi, western Tennessee, at this point here, okay? At the max, you're going to get an expansion of the moderate, okay? That's just because of the supercell threat. Don't bank on the high risk. It takes a crazy, I can't even tell you how much it takes to get a high risk out of this. And I know you have a lot of severe weather. You're thinking, what does it take to get a high risk? It takes a very, very special amount of agreements to come together to get a high risk. I mean, it's 5 out of 5 for a reason. It's 5 out of 5 for a reason. And they don't issue it for no reason. They issue it for specific situations. And we'll have to watch to see how tomorrow goes, guys. But the moderate and the enhanced risk should be more than enough, folks. Don't wait for this to go high risk. Please be prepared for severe weather for tonight here, okay? So, yeah, I know the only sad thing is 6,000 last night when the bad weather came, and then 400 to be prepared. It is what it is at this point, man. That's been an uphill battle for the last couple of years, where we've had people come in, lower amount beforehand, and then they immediately come in during the event. No matter how much we preach to it, it's no problem. We really don't mind at this point, as long as somebody is listening. At this point, as long as one ear is listening, that's all that matters to us, man. At this point, it's just an uphill battle at this time here. Okay, so yeah, I think the moderate risk is great. I don't want this going high at this point. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind across the area. We're gonna keep you guys updated at this point here. Okay, so yeah, I know a lot of people are at work too, so there's a factor with that as well. But instead of 4, just kind of keep that in mind. As long, I say it like this: as long as one person is listening and taking this seriously, that's perfectly fine for my book. That's perfectly okay. I promise you, that's perfectly okay in my book. As long as one person is listening to us and taking us seriously, that's all that matters, man. I don't care what happens after that point. So yeah, so I know it's midday, less viewers when everybody's at. I know it's during the week. Everybody's at work, school, stuff like that. So I'm not really too concerned about that potential. Except for as long as one person is listening to it, that's all that matters at this current time here, guys. So that's all I got for y'all. All right, we're gonna be here this evening. Okay, I may do a live stream about 2-3 o'clock. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But at least there'll be a video update. But for tonight, main threat. Couple tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds at this point here, okay? Tomorrow, the moderate risk across eastern Arkansas, as you can see. The enhanced risk across central Arkansas, and then western Arkansas, this slight risk area, okay? So just keep that in mind across this board. And so forth. That's my mindset, guys, okay? As long as one person is listening to me, that's all that matters. That's all that matters, guys, okay? I appreciate y'all for being here. I appreciate y'all for the likes and the shares. We hit 150,000 followers. 150,000 followers, guys. That's beast mode. That's what I want to hear, guys. That's great. I want to keep the ball going at this point, guys. Okay. So as I said before, guys, let me see here. Thank y'all for being here. Yeah, the wind's gonna be strong, by the way, as well. Boy, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm looking at the temperature right now, and I'm sweating crazy. Okay. So that's all I got for you guys right now. Timing. Let me repeat this before I get off of here. 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. tonight, noon to 8 o'clock tomorrow. Okay? 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. tonight, 12 to 8 o'clock tomorrow. Okay? Let me draw this out so you guys get a better representative of what we're looking at. 6 to 1 tonight, 12 to 8 tomorrow. Okay? That's today, that's tomorrow. 6 p.m., 1 a.m., noon to 8. Okay? That's tomorrow's risk. And this is today's risk, from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. to 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's tomorrow. This is today. Okay? Hopefully that answers your question now. And our index just went nuts for some reason. We got a lot of updates coming out. Okay? So, as I said before, I do appreciate that at this point. Okay? Somebody in my moderators go take care of that comment for me. That is far from the truth, but you can think whatever you want to think about that, okay? So, we appreciate y'all for tuning in at this point, guys. I'm fixing to get ready to get off of here at this point, okay? Alright, so that's all I got for you guys at this point here, guys. I'm fixing to get off of here. Y'all have a great rest of your day. So before, we're going to have updates all afternoon, all evening long. I may do another video right around that 2:30, 3 o'clock time frame to give you guys another brief update on what to expect there, but we'll continue to keep you guys updated right here in your source for all things Arkansas weather.